When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting, and it only makes common sense.
I think that our president needs to obey the laws of the lands. He needs to secure the border. He's a bully, and if we don't push back, he's not going to stop until he kills and destroys the America we love. I don't want my grandchildren to grow up in Obama's America. I want Reagan's America.
The immigrants is taking over. They're trying to turn this into a third world country. And quite as it's kept, these Latinos is the new Nazis for the blacks.
I'm not against immigration, I'm against illegal immigration. And I think what's happening here right now is a little bit far beyond illegal immigration. There's some threats coming through right now that we just can't deal with.
And what are those threats?
Well, they found some Muslim prayer rugs on the border. They found a couple other books that lead me to believe those aren't little children coming over unaccompanied.
Hello, I'm Alex.
And I'm Zach.
And today we're going to be looking at the political turmoil caused by figures such as Donald Trump in relation to immigration and how immigrants contribute to criminality and how they don't.
We are not only going to be looking at the current day trends of immigrant criminality, but we will also be comparing them to the past trends such as the acts of mafia. And we will also be looking to show a more empathetic perspective to the mob and their actions many years ago.
Before we start, please take a moment to reflect on what you believe is the situation at hand in regards to immigrants, legal and illegal, and their role in the United States, whether they improve or detract from the United States. Please record these thoughts somewhere so you can reference them at the end.
If we take a look into the past, we see that immigrant criminality was largely through mob activity. Mobs were generally made up of certain ethnicities, heritage, or even religions.
While mobs were not exclusive to these boundaries, they were the most common.
Prominent mobs were the Italian mob, Irish mob, and Jewish mob. What each of these groups of people had in common is that at some point in history they faced oppression, either in their homelands or in the United States. This caused these groups of people to come together and create organizations of power, the mobs. The Italian mafia holds its origins in Sicily, where it initially formed. According to Durden Smith, a mafia historian, after a revolution in Italy, the northern part of the nation became more industrialized and largely focused on the political sphere at the time. This left Sicily and the rest of southern Italy deprived and looked down upon by the rest of the nation.
Because this area was for the most part ignored politically and in terms of development, it was also ignored by the police. In the face of unorganized crime in the area, being looked down upon by the rest of the nation, seeming as if little help was coming for the way, many citizens took matters into their own hands, and so the mafia was formed.
The mafia, while a group that did complete terrible acts, was maintaining order in their society as they felt they needed to do. The government, and especially the police, ignored much of Sicily as it was part of southern Italy, and the mafia is what kept order in this society. It was a necessity for the area. And once the police desired to take action, the mafia was already too large to stop.
Yeah, and as these Italian immigrants from Sicily came over to America, it may not have been their intention to start a new mafia, but because they were met with similar conditions to what had been in Sicily, such as being ignored by institutions and having less desirable options to make a living, they banded together and formed a similar mafia to what they had in Sicily. And that's where the modern American mafia came from.
The Little Italies of cities were dangerous ghetto-like areas simply from unorganized crime alone, and it is in these environments that the mafia was able to prosper. Similar trends occurred for each different mob. The mid-1800s Irish potato famine caused a large influx in Irish immigration to the United States, and these people were forced into poor neighborhoods, separate from the rest of Americans. It is in these places that the Irish mob formed. The Jewish mob formed from a similar oppressive situation. The people of these mobs did not turn to the life of crime because it was their life goal. They did it because they found it necessary. In a situation with a large amount of poor people all discriminated against, creating a livelihood is not a simple task, and many turn to the mob for this reason.
In recent times, a large national debate has been sparked pertaining to immigration and how immigrants contribute to rising crime rates over the country. One of the large figures that represents this newfound American voice is Donald Trump.
We asked Highland Park students and faculty their thoughts on the matter. What do you think of Donald Trump's immigrant position?
I think it's a very unfair position because of the fact that even though what he said is absolutely disgusting, immigrants in our society aren't really given a choice, especially illegal immigrants.
Do you believe there is a correlation between immigration and criminality in America?
No, because most immigrants come to this country to better themselves. Sure, there is like that small percentage that does cause problems, but like, I don't know, people come to America like because it's the best country in the world.
Do you believe there is a correlation between immigration and criminality in America?
Personally, no, I don't think there's a direct correlation between immigration and crime in America, but I believe that what we see on the media today leans people towards certain biases. You have Donald Trump, who's always talking about how we need to build a wall and things like that, and Americans just believe that that must be true, and that immigration, although it is a problem in the United States, it's not the leading factor that causes crime in the U.S., but I think it just depends on the person, not the race as a whole, or immigration as a whole.
Do you believe there is a correlation between immigration and criminality in America?
I honestly do not believe there's any correlation because criminals can come from any race and can be any shape and any size. For instance, the big bad wolf in Red Riding Hood isn't even a person, so really, if a wolf can be a criminal, can you be a criminal?
Do you believe there is a correlation between immigration and criminality in America?
No, I do not. I believe there's lots of correlations with immigration. I believe there's a correlation of desperation. I believe there's a correlation of hope. I believe there's a correlation of guts, determination, correlation of fear, but not criminality. Criminality is too narrow to be linked to such a large group as immigrants as a whole. Criminality derives from a mindset that I can do something the easy way. I can profit even if other people really suffer. I think the major criminality, I'm not thinking about, simple theft, or I'm thinking about murder and drug running and territorial fights over territory. And that's not linked to immigrants, that's linked to well, many things, but one of them is a mindset that says, I'm going to take what I want by violence.
Many Americans are afraid of what foreigners in the nation may mean to them. Because of this, they insist on putting up borders, both physical and bureaucratic, in order to keep these people out.
That's right. We're here to present as objective of facts as we could find, so that you can formulate your own educated opinion on this matter. Here are the facts as follows.
Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime he might perpetrate next?
He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of the suicidal maniac.
immigrant criminality in America, both in the present and the past, and that you are able to now see a new perspective other than the one you may have had coming into this video.
Yep, and in the beginning we had asked for you to write a couple bullet points down of what you thought of the political debate with immigration, and with those bullet points, please reflect on those and add on to them, or talk about how your thoughts have been strengthened or how they've been argued against, and whether you have any different opinions or anything that comes up, any thoughts, any other reflections that you have, including the ones you had in the beginning. It would be fantastic if you could send them to either 162 Grigorovich A at student.dist113.org. That's 162 GRIGOROVICH.
And we will have the emails on the screen.
Yeah, we'll have that. And then this guy's 162 Seinfeld Z, and then with the domain name. Or you could post it in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook. And that would be fantastic. Thank you and good night.
See ya. We may have to do that again.
No, that was good. Why not? That was funny.